What's good, y'all? It's been a minute since I made a video. I just wanted to give y'all an update. It's really been a lot going on. Um, I know y'all see my background. It's not straight, but at this point, I really don't give a fuck. but here recently, I just went to court. Um, on March 16th. It was really wasn't like a real trial or nothing, but just starting to get real. I mean, it's been real, but we starting to get to that point within the case where we start negotiating. And when this whole ordeal started, they was offering me 15 for trafficking, escape, drug proceeds. Um, but this past court date, I was able to talk them down to doing 2.5 years. They was offering 15, but I would have had to do 50% of that, which is 7 years. I got him down to 5, which is 2.5 years. Um, I'm still working out, some negotiations. I'm trying to get that escape charge throughout, because if I can get that escape charge throughout, then I can do my time comfortably. I don't have to go back behind the fence and reinstitutionalize myself. You know, I think that's the main thing for me. That's the main thing that I battle with, even now that I'm out. So that's why it's so important to me that I do that. I do my time in that way because people really don't understand the type of mentality that you have to do time behind the walls, especially for a long period of time. You have to be cold hearted, um, having to fucking address every situation with aggression. Really ain't no talking. Um, Only thing people respect is violence. And it's always a young nigga that's always trying to test you. You know, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You know, especially if you do a lot of time because once upon a time you used to be that young nigga, just wilding, you know. But then you start aging, start slowing down a little bit, start thinking a little bit, you know. And then you encounter them same youngsters with the same type of mentality that you used to have, you know. And as frustrating as it may be, you respect it because you know that used to be you, you know. But I'm at that point in my life where I want to be a man, and since I bonded out, I was given that opportunity to prove to myself, not only to myself, but to my family as well, that I can be a man. I've been incarcerated since I was 19 years old. And even before then, I was making bad decisions. You know, I'm not going to go into the details right now for those decisions, but I was, I thought I was older than I was. Just dealing with a lot of trauma and not knowing how to cope with it. I think that's a problem for a lot of people. We just don't speak on it. I think the source of a lot of people's problem is mental health. You know, People just deal with it in different ways, but that's besides the point. Um, my mama, she's getting older. She just recently had a procedure, stem cell procedure injected to her eyes. You know, unfortunately, my mother is losing her vision, but at this point, where I'm very optimistic about it, you know, but that weighs on my mind going into doing this time, you know. Um, I think it's things like that that make it hard for me to do the time because honestly, I can do the time. You know, I know what comes with doing time. It's just the things that I can't control while I'm in there. I think that's what really keeps you up at night in there. And that was my main thing. My biggest fear was my mother passing or anybody that I love passing while I was in there. You know, when I was fighting my first case, you know, um, I was just hell bent on not taking no deals. I think that's the thing to say when you first catch a case, you know. Older niggas is telling you like nigga don't take no deals, you know, you kinda know the system or you've heard about it. They try to spook you into taking deals, you know. But honestly it wasn't until my attorney for my first case told me, he said, Mr. Butler, they trying to give you a life sentence and that means while you're in there, everybody that you love will die while you in there. And I never thought about it like that. You know, it wasn't until he told me that you know, that I even started to consider a deal, you know. But it's funny because when he said that, I asked him, you know, I was like, well, damn, well, shit, what they offering? He said, oh, well, there's no deal, but you know, so it's kind of funny. Like, why should we even bring it up if they wasn't offering the deal? Because you know, I feel like at that point, you know, that was probably the most receptive I ever was to taking the deal. So if you can make it sound good, I might, you know. But while I'm speaking on that, um, you know, I've never talked about it because, you know, for the longest I was always concerned about possibly catching another case, and to an extent I still am. And so therefore I won't go into the details, but this weighs heavy on my soul. I'm not a religious man, but I'm at a place in my life where like I'm trying to work on myself in every aspect of my life, whether it's finances. I would like to get to a place where um I'm focused more on having better health. But I smoke weed, and I probably always will. And even saying something like that kind of lets you know my mentality because saying something like that manifested, you know. So that just goes to show that my mind is weak in some aspects. But that's besides the point. Speaking of my first case, um, for those of y'all that don't know, um, I went in for second degree murder. Um, you know, and the victim on that case, to be honest, um, he crosses my mind sometimes. I don't. It doesn't weigh on my mind heavily like people may think, and I don't say that like I'm cold hearted. I think subconsciously it may be a defense mechanism, you know, but I've grown up with time and how I feel about things changed, have evolved. And I kind of feel like that's it's just it's natural. for a time with everything going on in the country with racism, you know, I I felt real passionate about it, and it made me reflect on one of the bigger issues within the communities, black on black crime. And like I wanted to speak out on things, but because of my past, it kept me from having an opinion on things. I feel like it's hindered me from being able to speak to the youth on anything positive. How can I tell a child to do anything positive considering the things that I've done? So, without going into details, I feel like I need to do this for myself, and I also want to do it for the family of Robert Mountain. And I know they'll never forgive me, and that's understandable. But I do want them to know that I sincerely apologize for what happened that night. As I said, I'm not a religious man. Um, I don't know if I go to hell for it, but I'll live with it on my conscience forever. And I think about Robert. Um, he had a child, and to think that that child has to grow without a father, a black father at that, in that child's life, and how much damage that does, especially with everything that a black man has to already, or a black woman has to face. I feel terrible. I think about, I literally think about ways that I could change the narrative. Like I have a clothing brand, you know, and I have it on my heart to give back to organizations. I would love nothing more than to do something amazing, to do something great, and to do it in the name of Robert Mountain. You know, for the longest I couldn't even say that name because it weighed on my conscience, but like I want to empower that name, honestly. um, I felt like I needed to do that because in my mind I have a certain way that I want to die, and I'm just trying to make amends for the past so that I can get to a place that I can forgive myself because I have to live my best life. I have to find my peace before it's my time because I don't never know. Um, it could be tomorrow. And honestly, like if I did die tomorrow, I'm proud of the man that I've become, and it's really a blessing because I was given another opportunity to get out again after the first time. And even then, I got out and caught the cases that I'm facing right now, like as if I didn't learn my lesson. And after I bonded out on the cases that I'm facing now, I did. And that also makes me think about Robert. You know, I was given the chance to get to this point, and unfortunately, he wasn't. That's really all that I have to say on that matter. Um, I have court in August. I'm looking at doing 2.5 years, but I'm okay with that. You know, like I said, my mother, she's getting old. Going into these 2.5 years, I don't know what it's gonna look like when I get out. I don't know who's gonna be there. Um, Whether that be, I don't know who's gonna be alive. You know, let alone loyalty. But I do have a good woman in my life, Jasmine. Hope you know who you are. Um, I have a great family. Um, through these losses that I've been going through, I've learned lessons, so I don't consider them losses. You know, as far as my clothing brand goes, because I am going to do this 2.5 years. Unfortunately, um, I will have to shut it down. But it's it's more of a transition. It's moving my money into a different investment. You know, with everything going on in the world right now, inflation, I think it's best that we all consider doing that. You know, honestly, um, I still have merchandise. Um, Give me a second. I still have red and black. Cold off of love beans. Trench baby. $20. I got, well, you can't see it with this on. Give me a second to show you real fast. These are the Trench Baby vest jackets with the hoodie. That also you can unzip. You can unzip the hoodie. The hoodie comes off. And I'm looking at $50. I'm gonna keep in mind you also have to pay for shipping. I don't be trying to overcharge y'all. That's one thing that I've heard, and I'm I'm listening. Um, I'm not greedy. You know, I care more about customer satisfaction, but also because I am new to this, I could be paying more for things than paying more than I should for things. So that's things that I'm learning. I'm trying to figure it out every day, but I also have to make money, and that's what it is. Um, I'm thinking after this shipment, I probably won't buy any more inventory. As I said, I think I'm looking to invest in stocks right now because it is a down market. Um, and I'm looking to invest my money in real estate and sheriff auctions. But this video is getting a little bit long, but I felt that I needed to make this video and say the things that I said. Um, I also want to thank my roommate Marcus and his grandpa Ed for allowing me to live here while I'm in Colorado. Keep in mind, this all started with me. I got on Indeed. I looked for the highest paying job in whatever state. I didn't care, and it just so happened I ended up in Colorado. I bought me a car and I lived out my car. And I invested in my clothing business, Trench Baby. And I did all this within a span of 8 months. I just got out. That's why I don't look at these losses like L's. They lessons to me. I proved to myself. I know how to start a business. I know the foundation of what it takes to start a business and run a business. And I'm still learning. And I'm able today to teach somebody that may be in the same position I was 8 months ago. So I'm fine. I own my losses in the same way that when I was in prison and I used to get in fights and I used to lose some of them, and unless I was just all the way beat the fuck up and me walking around the pod would bring attention to the pod, I wouldn't, but I didn't like being in the dark, being in my cell and hiding from people, licking my wounds. Like, if I got my ass whooped, I'm gonna walk around the pot and I'm gonna wear that shit. So I wear my losses. Just know that I was in the field. That's what that means. Them battle scars. You know what I mean? But I also want to take the time to just thank everybody that supported Trench Baby and me, believed in me. Um, the list goes on. Family, friends, they were supporters. I had to fucking cut a lot of people off. You know, I had to pick and choose what energy I wanted around me. What perspectives I wanted around me because I understood that it shaped, them perspectives and that energy, it shapes me. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know fake shit. You know, I don't know fake shit. I always try to keep it real with the people that kept it real with me. And even through this case, the police, they wanted me to flip, you know, but I ain't never crossed my mind. I kept it solid. And people was trying to sit me down for 7 years. And I kept it real. And now I'm only going to have to do 2.5 years. And I want people to know this, and I want to make this very clear, and it's no disrespect. But I am done gang banging, you know. If for the individuals that I used to fuck with in the past, like if I continue to fuck with moving forward, it's because you might have showed me in the past that you really care. You know what I mean? But at the same time, for the people that I don't fuck with, it's personal. It's not no beef, it's no smoke, but I'm gonna live the way that I wanna live because I'm gonna die the way that I wanna die. Straight up. And nobody's gonna take that from me. Nobody's gonna tell me nobody is gonna tell me how I wanna live my life, and that's facts. You know what I mean? I did that shit for 17 years and that shit stops today. Straight up. I would have died for something. I would have died for something petty, but for my peace, I promise you, nigga, I'll bring it to you, nigga. Or you better bring it to me. Straight up. But I don't even want to end with that type of energy because, like I said, man, I'm not even a violent person no more. You know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all's time.